Welcome to the Discount Property Investor Podcast, where we show you how to buy real estate at a discount so you can create wealth over time and income today. Our mission is to share what we have learned from the experience of others and help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate, the Discount Property Investor way. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Mike, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great, man. It's a beautiful day here in St. Louis. Nothing to complain about, man.
The weather has been nice.
Yeah. We just got through a little heat wave, so anything under 100 degrees feels great.
Absolutely.
How about yourself, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good.
Good.
Life is good. Can't
Good.
complain.
Yeah, business is going good here.
Business is great.
We're crazy busy guys, so it's yeah. I mean, we just our heads are spinning all the time. It seems like, and that's one of the things I think in our business we need to work on.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things Dave and I went to a training last week. And we know it's something we need to work on. So
you went to one just a couple of days ago too, right?
I did. I went to another one, just a kind of a beginner's wholesaler boot camp.
Hey, it's
really
always
just
good to pick up some new tips.
Just to network and see what the guys are talking about. So.
Was that a big crowd?
Yeah, it's a pretty good crowd, about 100 people.
Wow,
so,
that's a real big crowd.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's awesome. That's
man.
awesome. Well, Mike, what are we talking about today, man?
Today we are going to talk about what it takes to be a good wholesaler, or what makes a good wholesaler. So basically kind of the personality type of someone that's going to be successful in this business.
Okay.
And I think there's no real right answer, and I really do believe that anyone out there can wholesale.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just whether or not you're going to enjoy it or not. I think that's kind of the main dilemma, or the difference between these things. So please don't use any of this as like we're saying that this type of person can't wholesale, because I really truly believe anyone can. Because my personal experience is I'm not the sales type. I'm not the extrovert. I'm much more introverted. But I think I'm a pretty decent wholesaler when it comes down to it.
Sure.
So
I think you are too. You're a great wholesaler.
Yeah. So again, like I'm saying, I don't think that any of these things necessarily exclude someone from being able to wholesale. Anyways, So what type of personality is going to be the best at wholesaling? My opinion, you think of somebody who is able to talk to anyone, I think they're going to be a better wholesaler.
Right. You can't be shy in this business.
Right. And then you've also got to have somebody who is a doer. So one of the biggest problems in wholesaling, at least that I think we experience, is people who want to wholesale. So they're ready to take action, but that's where they're at. And they stop.
Action has been taken.
They stop at ready to take action. Because I hear it all the time that I'm going to do this.
Or I bought this course, and then I bought this course, and I went to this seminar. But you haven't done anything.
Right.
You're just educating yourself, and you're just kind of stuck in that whole analysis paralysis phase. And do something. Get some bandit signs out there. Put some mail out there. Do something.
Right. So
Call people on Craigslist, for heaven's sakes.
You think about two different kinds of kids. Like one is going to go out there and like walk around the playground and maybe go on the swing a couple times, and the other one who's just jumping in the mud and sliding down the slide head first.
Breaking his leg.
Yeah, that's the wholesaler, I think.
Totally.
I mean, he's definitely more the
you got to be motivated. Motivation, I think, is key to this topic here. You have to be motivated. This is truly a business where you eat what you kill. Very few times in the beginning, I should say, I want to make sure I make this clear. In the beginning, very few times you're going to stumble across a deal. Now, if you do enough marketing, you do enough, essentially you do enough marketing and you get your name out there enough, then you're going to stumble into deals. Me and Mike stumble into deals weekly.
I'll be honest, that's how I've had my success in wholesaling, honestly, is by stumbling into deals. But you do enough marketing,
you're going to stumble. Enough marketing,
you're going to stumble into it.
Right, absolutely. And that's the point, though. I was on a call with my buddy Joe, who does like an 8-week coaching program for new wholesalers and new lease option wholesalers. And he had me on the call just to kind of talk about some of my success. And I told his new students, I said, listen, guys, I go, you're not going to stumble into a deal if you haven't sent a single letter. But if you're sending out 500, 1,000 letters a week, you're going to stumble into deals. You're going to fall into deals because you have so much marketing going out. Now, not every deal you're going to fall into, but let's say that you do 10 deals. Well, maybe on that 11th deal, somebody's just going to call you up and say, hey, I don't even care what your offer is. I got to get rid of this house tomorrow. Come out and look at it and make me an offer on it, you know? So
yeah, that's absolutely true.
Definitely going to stumble into them.
Yeah, and again, when you're new, if you're too timid to answer the phone, you're not going to stumble into the deal either.
Right.
So that's that whole personality type. You
you
have to be a little bit more outgoing if you're an introvert like myself.
Right.
You have to be ready to get outside yourself. It's staying in the uncomfortable zone or whatever it's called. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
I do. I know exactly what you're saying.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
Like you have to push your comfort level further to improve yourself. So again, if you've never wholesaled before, it's going to be confusing and it could be scary. It's like, oh shoot, I'm buying a house. Like that's a big deal. Well, to a lot of people, buying and selling a house is a big deal. To us, again, we do a lot of deals.
I think we bought 4 or 5 houses last week.
Right. We bought 4, more than that.
Maybe 5.
Yeah. We bought a lot of houses. So, and then in the past year, I mean, how many deals have we done, wholesale deals? We've done like over 100 and something.
Yeah.
So again, it's not a big deal for us. But you have to recognize that it can be a big deal. And in yourself, just think of it as less of a big deal. Step outside your comfort zone. Again, that's the kind of the point here. So personality types, again, I think it's just somebody who's going to be a little bit more outgoing and an action taker. I don't know if that's really a definition of a personality type, but it is definitely the qualities or whatever that I'm looking for. Got to be an action taker.
Totally.
Yeah. So again, and if you aren't, like I said, just put on that hat. Put on the doer hat when you're in your wholesaling mindset, and put on the action taker hat when you're working on your wholesale business. Don't put on the thinking about it and gathering information. That doesn't do you any good. I mean, again, you do have to learn a little bit, but you do have to go out there and do things, and you have to learn from your mistakes. I mean, it's all part of the business.
Absolutely.
So
couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the motivation then, and how you stay motivated, because I would say that wholesaling is basically, or very similar to a sales job. I mean, right, we're buying it, that's basically selling the seller that your price is right, essentially, and then you're selling a property and finding a buyer that, again, agrees that
right.
the little
so
bit
you guys
higher
have heard
price
us
is
say
right.
this 100 times, but you're in the marketing business as a wholesaler. Real estate is your product, but essentially you are in the marketing business. So you're marketing out to motivated sellers, and then once you have these properties either under contract or purchased, then you're marketing these properties to be sold. But at the end of the day, you still have to sell. You have to sell yourself and your business, that you're capable and have the capacity to buy these homes. And then you have to sell these properties to your cash buyers, investors, landlords, rehabbers, so on and so forth. So, having the ability to sell is very, very important. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you, Mike.
Yeah, so, and the ability to sell is super important. So motivation, though, right?
Motivation.
Let's move into a little bit about motivation.
What keeps you motivated, Mike? I know what motivates me. That's money.
Money, man. That's the number one driver. So I've got a little personal story before I kind of get into, we'll start there. So one of the things that helps keep me motivated is setting goals. So I know you do this, Dave. We, as a business, do it. We set goals for several years out, and then quarterly goals as well. And we call them rocks around here.
Right.
So we each have our rocks, and those are basically, hey, don't forget, you've got to do this. The other guys are going to make sure that you do that. So I would say set goals for yourself. It's extremely important. But then when you hit those goals, provide yourself some sort of incentive for that, or give yourself
and celebrate the victories.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Even a $2,000 wholesale, if it's your first one, take your wife out, take your girlfriend out for a fancy dinner.
Right.
I mean,
we just did a wholesale deal for $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
Took a whole year.
Yeah.
I think that was the last episode, right?
Yep. 2 episodes back.
2 episodes back. I celebrated. We went out and got a good dinner.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah.
Hey.
Celebrate your victories.
Right.
Absolutely. So personal story about me. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Dave, you know the whole story. So
hey, I'm listening.
I was driving and my car, fender bender. Somebody hit me, and the vehicle was essentially, they totaled it out. So instead of being able to just repair it, because I didn't want to get a new car, it was a great little car for running appointments and everything. I didn't want a new one. But my wife, I was kind of driving her car, so she wants a new car. We went out and bought a brand new car. We had to order it, and it's actually going to take about 16 weeks to get here. So I purchased a $2,000, basically 1999 Toyota Camry.
It's not a bad car.
It's not a bad car.
$2,000.
$2,000. It's not a nice car though.
Yeah, but it gets you around, man.
There's rust on it. It's clean. It's basically, yeah.
Somewhat.
We'll post a picture in the in the show notes. So again, it's a great car. There's nothing wrong with it. My point is, it's a 99 Camry. It's 2017. This thing's almost 20 years old. I can afford a much nicer car than that. I could go get another car. But being in that car reminds me that I need to work harder. Like, to me, it's
such a great point.
To me, a 2000 car is like a throwaway car. And I say that and I realize how bad that sounds to some people and just in general. But to me, a $2,000 for a throwaway car, I would rather have gone out and bought a $10,000 throwaway car. You know, like go buy a brand new Yaris or something. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I do.
So
totally
it's just remember that no matter where you're at, you've got to raise your standard of living for yourself and your family. A lot of people find that family is like the biggest motivation is providing for their children. So again, wherever you're at in your life, I think it's important to have something that reminds you to work harder, to stay motivated, to stay on task.
That's a great point.
So again, that car to me, I don't even know if I want to trade it in because, I enjoy driving it because it reminds me, hey man, this is how some people live. Like, you've got to hustle hard, or you can end up here again too. Like, you can end up with, this is the best it's going to get for you. Right. So I don't know. Again, that was just my personal little motivation, and it reminds me to get out there and to work harder every day. Mm-hmm. Is that
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What motivates me? I like to build businesses, and I obviously like to make money. And what motivates me is just helping people. So obviously building my business, making money, those are kind of side effects of me being out in the field, meeting motivated sellers that, they're oftentimes they're in an ugly situation. And sometimes the house is ugly too, but usually it's the situation that's ugly. They're going through a divorce, somebody had recently passed away, they're in foreclosure, so on and so forth. Lots of reasons that they could be motivated. And I can come to them with a solution, and I can say, hey, I'm here to help. And like I've said in previous podcast episodes, I'm an investor. I can't pay you full price for this. However, I can take this problem off your back. And to me, it's really rewarding to be able to go out and do that. And then on the flip side, find a landlord, rehabber, whoever, investor that's looking for their next project that can get it at 20 or 30% off, and then provide them with value. So it's such a win-win-win. And the side effect of that is that I can make money. So it's just like, that to me, it just motivates the hell out of me.
I always find it funny because, like you said, you find that buyer and they're excited about the 20-30% discount that they're getting on it.
Absolutely. Even if you can make $20,000.
But the funny part is how many people are like, that's not a deal. Like, you'll get plenty of buyers that are going to tell you it's not a deal, and you're going to doubt yourself constantly.
They want 40% off.
Right. And your comps are too high and all this stuff. So it's definitely, you gotta keep that in check, that you've got different people telling you different things.
Yeah, in this market though,
yeah.
What's the date? August 5th, 2017. It's hot right now. It's really, really hot, the market. And there's people that have crews that are doing tons of rehabs, and fortunately for us, they'll pay 90 cents on the dollar for a property just because they need to keep their crews busy. So it just kind of varies too, by market conditions, lots of different factors. Mm-hmm. So, But yeah, guys, find your motivation. Figure out what motivates you, and run with it.
Yeah, and I think we covered it in the first couple episodes. We didn't even mention that today. The first 10 episodes, we recommend you go back and check it out. Pretty sure we had a little bit on why, like finding your why.
Find your why.
The why you want to
Absolutely.
wholesale.
It's like episode 4 or 5.
Yeah, that was
6,
a good episode.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's your motivation. I mean, you really have to figure out personally to you what's going to motivate you.
So true.
So that's definitely something to think about. So other things regarding like the personality of a wholesaler. Mm-hmm. What about I mean, I think you kind of talked about ethics a little bit, is that you like to create win-win situations.
Oh, I love creating win-win
And I think
situations.
that's really important because, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you're ripping off grandmas," or you're trying to steal people's houses. That's the perception that might be out there.
Right.
And it's not really the case. One of our friends says it the best, is that wholesalers provide liquidity to an illiquid market.
Jimmy, I love that guy. He says it all the time, but it's I didn't realize that's what we were doing until he mentioned it. But that's exactly what we're doing.
Right.
We provide liquidity to homeowners.
Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick. So liquidity, obviously, if you're not super fluid or familiar with like financial terminology, so cash is the most liquid asset you can hold because you can spend it right away in exchange for goods. Less liquid objects would be something like gold coin or silver coin, although it's still technically
you can sell it, but you can't go to Walmart and buy a new pair of shoes with a gold coin.
And gold and silver are considered a currency, so when you sell them, it's really just a currency exchange. So there's not really tax when you buy and sell them, which is kind of an interesting thing. Mm-hmm. So the next investments that would be even less liquid would be like stocks, because stocks are. I mean, obviously there's a value on it, and there's exchanges set up, so you can trade them pretty quickly. Yeah. So you can convert them to cash quickly.
Somewhat. It takes 3 or 4 days for it to clear. Then you got to transfer the money from your brokerage house to your bank account. But yeah, within a week.
Right, relatively quickly. So they're less liquid than the other two. And then housing or real estate is probably one of the least liquid because it takes the longest time to convert that property into cash or spendable cash.
So true.
So
and oftentimes it can take months and months.
Right. I mean, you think about typical transactions.
Maybe even years.
Right.
You got property, just vacant property. It can take years to sell that sometimes.
Right. So again, wholesalers, think about yourself as providing liquidity to an illiquid market, and it's definitely, yeah. I mean, again, it's not ripping off old ladies. It is buying at a discount. I mean, and we're very clear with that. Is that, hey, we're investors. We say this all the time on the phone too. Is I'm an investor. I can't pay full price. Right. I can't pay full retail because I'm an investor. Like I can't do it. It's my business. It's how we make money. So we have to buy at a discount. So again, it's full disclosure. You make that very clear to your sellers.
Totally.
We bring the comps with us. We've talked about this in the past on the credibility
packet. Great episode.
Yeah. So we're bringing everything to the table. We're never trying to deceive anyone, and you are trying to help people. And when you think like that, you get that in there. It's definitely. I think it makes the whole ethical dilemma of what you're doing disappear. I don't even see it as an ethical situation anymore.
Well, I'm going to touch a little bit more on what you just said. You said full disclosure, and I pride myself on transparency. So I would rather the seller know every possibility of what could happen once I purchase that property. When I go out on an appointment with a seller, I literally will tell them, hey, I'm an investor. I can't pay you retail for this property because how would I make money to feed my family and pay my bills? So they're right there off the bat. That's transparency. I let them know that I am a cash buyer. I'm here to buy this property, but I have to be able to get a good deal on it. Okay? Secondly, what I'll tell them is, like Mike had mentioned a minute ago with the credibility packets, I'll show them the comps and I'll say, hey, we got a property for 160, 165, 170. So our after repair value is 165. You average those numbers, okay? And this property that I'm at, for example, you, Mr. and Mr. Seller, the property is very comparable to the comps that I brought. However, your property needs 60 grand worth of work, or let's say 65 grand worth of work for simple round numbers. So 165 minus the 65 puts you at 100,000. Now, if I paid 100,000 for that property and I put 65 into it, I'd be into it for 165, but then I'd have holding costs, I'd have taxes, I'd have insurance, I'd have closing costs, I'd have what's called seller concessions, meaning once I sold that property, the buyer's going to come in with the inspector and pick it apart, and I'm going to have to either give them money at closing or fix a bunch of stuff. So in that particular scenario, if I bought it for 165 and put 65 into it, I'd lose $15,000 on that deal, 10 to 15. Maybe less, maybe more. So I'll explain that, just like I explained it to you folks. I'll explain that to the seller. So in order for me to make rephrase. In order for me to even break even on this property, I can't pay you more than 1 penny over 85 grand. Now, I'm not making any money at 85 grand. That's a break even price. So, I typically shoot for, 10 to 15,000 on a flip, especially one that I'm spending $65,000
Yeah, you're probably
on.
going to look for a little higher profit margin.
Maybe even 20.
And that's something I personally kind of avoid, is how much money I'm making. But I'll just say,
I'll tell them.
I just say I have to make a profit on it.
I tell them.
Like,
I say, listen. Well, I say, why don't you put $100,000 or $165,000 into this property? They don't have it.
Right.
So I tell them, I say, listen, I'm here to make money. And maybe I won't tell them the exact figure, but I tell them I'm in this to make money, guys. I got to feed my family, pay my bills, so on and so forth. So, my offer in my head is going to go from 85,000 probably down to, 55 or 60,000. And I'm going to start low because they're going to counter, and then we're going to meet somewhere in the middle. But to me, it's all about the transparency. And that's the ethics that I feel like I bring to the table when I'm on these appointments. Because I want them to know exactly what's going to happen. And then I take it one step further. And I say, listen, once I purchase your property, I may rehab it. I may just throw a sign in the yard and sell it. Or I may email and text message out all my friends, a.k.a. investors, cash buyers, rehabbers, landlords, so on and so forth, and see if they're interested in the deal. Maybe they want to partner with me on this deal, or maybe they want to just pay me to get the hell out of the way. And I'll tell them that from day one, because this is why I tell them that. If I purchase their house, and let's say that I haven't even bought it yet, I just have it under contract for maybe 20 days, and then I'm marketing this property out, and my virtual assistants, which we're going to talk about in a second, start posting this property on different websites, and then the seller all of a sudden sees that, and they call me. They're like, "Why the hell is my property on Craigslist?" And I'll straight up tell them, I'll say, remember our conversation that we had at your kitchen table about me marketing this property out to my investor buyers? Well, I have a massive list, at least I think I do, a big list, I should say, of partners, investors, cash buyers, but there's tons of other investors out there that I don't know. And this is just another way for me to market this property. So then what I'll say is, I'm going to buy this property regardless.
Which is true.
Which is true.
We do close on the
So
property.
it doesn't matter if I'm going to market this property and you see that I'm marketing this property. All that matters is that we're going to close on the date on the contract. As long as you show up and sign, you're going to get paid.
At the price that we agreed to, that you thought was fair,
Absolutely.
that we think is fair.
So maybe I went on a little tangent there about ethics, but my take, let me just sum it up. My take is full transparency. I'll tell people from the get-go, I'm going to look for a partner, but if that partner doesn't want to partner with me, meaning they don't want to joint venture and split the rehab and the purchase, and they just want to buy this property from me, they can. And I'll just sell them my interest in it.
Yeah, and there's plenty of ways to talk about that with the seller too. So you can go to the meeting or when you're talking with the seller, say, yeah, I mean, they ask you, what are you going to do with this property? You can say, I plan to resell it.
100%.
And
I'm not moving in here.
Yeah.
I already have a house.
Right. So are you going to fix it up, and are you going to put tenants in it, or are you going to flip it and be like, any one of those?
Any one of those.
Yeah, I could do anything with it. It really just depends.
Yeah, I try to stay away from giving them an exact scenario, because that sets yourself up for failure. So if you say, yeah, I'm going to fix it up and rent it, which maybe that's a great house to fix up and rent, but at the end of the day, it may not be you doing it. Maybe somebody else that you wholesaled it to or you partnered with.
Well, that's the other thing. So
I like that you say you give them multiple options. I do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I plan to resell it though. At some point.
Absolutely.
At some point.
Don't forget to say that. That's important.
And again, that's my quick answer. Dave talks a little longer, obviously. So I'm
going for hours.
My appointments are much quicker. I mean, I kind of get in, get out. I'm not there to spend all day. I just want to give the information, get the information, build a little rapport, get it under contract if I can. So that's how I do it. But I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
It's all good. It's what makes a good wholesaler, Mike. We got another topic here, don't we?
Yeah, we've got some motivation. You got to be motivated, your personality type, ethics, and basically somebody who's willing to continue to learn. Book I'm reading right now, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh, that's a good book. I read that.
Yes, Stephen Covey, right?
Yep.
His 7th habit is sharpen the saw. And I think that's exactly what we're talking about today, is sharpening the saw and continuing to get an education. So we know how to wholesale, right? Like Dave and I, we know how to wholesale. We help other people wholesale. We teach them how to that. We have put a free course together for you guys. last week I still signed up for a wholesaling workshop.
You did. And
I mean,
the week
again,
before that, me and you both went to a coaching training workshop.
Exactly. So it's somebody who knows, again, you know what you know, but you also realize that there's plenty of information out there that you don't know.
One of my favorite quotes is, the more you know, the less you know. I think I had screwed that up, but it's like, but it makes,
I don't know that quote.
But it makes sense though. It's like the more you learn, the more you realize that you know so much less about everything.
I think it's something like the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. There you go. Thanks,
like
Mike. I screwed that one up, didn't I? But that's a great point though. So continue to further educate yourself, guys. One thing I do want to caution you on is, if you want to go out and you want to buy a course on wholesaling or a course on any topic, that's fantastic. You need to educate yourself. But don't get carried away buying 6 or 8 or 10 courses. Take action, guys, okay? We sell courses. So again, I'm not telling you guys that the courses aren't great. Our courses are amazing. But you don't need to buy 10 courses on wholesaling to start wholesaling. Buy 1 or 2 or whatever, and just start doing what they tell you to do. Take action. That's, I think, the most important thing.
Right. In life, it's kind of like how do you lose weight? I mean, there's no magic bullet formula out there. You diet and exercise, right?
Diet and exercise.
Kind of like wholesaling. There's no magic bullet. Get out there and take action. Do some marketing. Answer the phone. Write offers.
Get in front of the seller. Write offers.
I mean,
absolutely.
Again, there's a few more steps in it for sure. And
really
there's a few
not
more...
though. It's a simple business. It's very simple.
Yeah. So again, just get out there, take action, but do continue to educate yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you already know a lot about wholesaling, I would say that maybe you learn a little bit more about rental investments and tax strategies, and there's
continue to further educate
tons of
yourself.
things to learn about. And like I said, we keep doing it. We sharpen the saw, so to speak. We'll go back and learn about stuff we already know.
Well, it also just gives you. I didn't mean to interrupt, Mike. Go ahead. It also gives you a lot more tools to put into your tool belt. So, like, we're doing a subject to deal this week. We've done a couple lease option deals recently. Now, we don't specialize in these deals. We're wholesalers. We all own investment properties as rentals, and we do a rehab from time to time. But we don't consider ourselves to be pros at lease options subject to...
or rehabs.
Or rehabs. Yeah, rehabs are tough, guys. Those are really tough. But we know a good amount about rental properties, and we know a ton about wholesaling. That's really what we stick to. But we like to add more tools to our belt.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to doing more and more of these subject to deals. They're very profitable, and lease options as well too. So
yeah, so I think that's kind of our take on what it takes to be a good wholesaler. Again, recap is just somebody who's ethical, somebody who's motivated, is going to work hard, an action taker, and again, willing to learn.
Right.
I mean, that's what it takes. And if you're interested in learning that, those are kind of the things we're looking for when we interview people to come and work with us on becoming wholesalers.
Yeah, doing joint ventures with us, or being a member of our coaching program.
Yeah, being a member of our coaching program, or somebody who's in St. Louis and is going to come up and ask us questions a lot. I mean, again, we don't really want to take them under our wing if they're not going to listen to what we tell them.
My buddy Joe says it to his students all the time. He says, if you're not willing to take massive action, then I don't consider you to be coachable, and I don't want you in my program. Mm-hmm. So, and that makes a great point. So this isn't our ending quote, but you guys have heard me say it again. Consistent, persistent action.
Speaking of our ending quote, let's go ahead and fire that one off.
You want to fire it off?
Let's
Mike,
do it,
you want to do it? Go ahead.
No, go for it, man.
Is it all
today.
me?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on, guys.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thanks in advance for your support. And remember, you make your money when you buy and get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.